Topic 1.1.2 Influences on your healthy active lifestyle, Part 2. In this topic, we'll be looking at the following: the different opportunities we have for getting involved in sport, and the sports participation pyramid. Roles in sport then. What I want to do is think about what roles there are in sport that an individual could choose to do. So if you were to take part or to get involved in a particular sport, what roles could you take up? We'll just stop the video, have a bit of a think about it, and restart the video when you're ready. Okay then, the first role that you might take up is one of a performer. And this is the most common way of being involved in sport, either as a beginner all the way up to being a professional. Okay, so these are the people who are out there on the court, on the pitch, actually taking part in the sport. Okay, either through trying to achieve some kind of enjoyment, and thinking about all the kind of reasons and benefits we looked at in the previous topic, all the way up to people who are at the top of the game who are doing this as their job, as their profession. The next role you can take then is one of a leader, and this could be in the form of a coach or a teacher who are there to train and develop those performers. Okay, so myself as a teacher, I'm there to educate you, to coach you, to train you, to help develop you in your performances. The next role you can take up is one of official. Okay, and they are there to oversee matches, ensuring they are played fairly and to the correct rules. So without the officials there, with the referee, an umpire, a scorer, the game could descend into chaos if they're not there. So they're there to make sure that everybody applies the correct rules. And the final role is one of a volunteer. They take up a variety of roles within a club or an event, such as looking after kit and equipment, first aid, transport, etc. So we've got a picture there of somebody, a volunteer at the London 2012 Olympics, and they played a major role at that particular event, from actually showing competitors around and taking them to the events they need to be, right the way through to being there for spectators and helping them with all the visitors who came from other countries to show them where they needed to go before and after events. So those are 4 different roles then. What you need to know for the exam are the different qualities that each of these roles requires. Okay, so again, I want you just to stop the video, think about what role you need, what qualities you need as a performer, the qualities you need as a leader, the qualities you need as an official, and finally, the qualities you need as a volunteer. Once you've had a bit of a think about it, restart the video and we'll look at these qualities in more detail. Okay then, for a performer, some of the qualities that I've listed are, first of all, you need to be committed. So you need to make sure you turn up to train every week, turn up to your matches every week, not letting anybody down. You obviously need a good fitness level. If you don't have that fitness level, you're not going to be able to perform to a good standard in your matches. You need to be reliable. Again, similar to you committed, if your teammates are relying on you being there for the game, you don't let anybody down. Enthusiasm. Okay, where if you're playing football in the winter, it starts getting a little bit cold, a little bit damp. Okay, if you don't have that enthusiasm there, you're going to let the poor weather get the better of you, and you're not going to play. And finally, you need to be determined. Okay, without that determination, you're never going to better yourself. You're never going to win. Okay. Next one is a leader. Some of the qualities you need as a leader. First of all, patience. If you're dealing with young people or people with a low skill level, you're going to need that patience because they're not going to be able to achieve everything that you want of them straight away. You need to be able to communicate. So those ideas, the instructions you've got, you need to be able to tell the performers what you want them to do. You need to be organised. So any equipment you need for the training sessions, any equipment you need for matches, you need to make sure you've got them there when you're booking facilities for training or organising matches. You also need to be knowledgeable. If you're going to develop these performers, you need to be aware of different tactics, different strategies, different drills that you might use in training. And finally, I said you need also to have good motivation. If you're dealing with a group of performers, you need to be able to inspire them and to motivate them into achieving the goal that you've got in mind. Moving on to official then. They need to be knowledgeable in that I mean, they need to know all the rules and be able to apply them and know what happens as a consequence of a rule being broken. Again, they need to be able to communicate. So if a foul is made or an infringement is made, they need to be able to tell the players what has happened and what happens next. They also need to have a good fitness level to keep up with play, so that if they're playing like in a hockey game, they're not stuck at one end of the pitch whilst the play is at the other. They need to have a good level of confidence, so they need to be able to be confident that the decision they made is the right one and not be swayed by anybody kind of disagreeing with them. And finally, they need to be fair, so they need to be able to treat both teams the same and not have a bias to one particular team. And then finally, moving on to volunteer, you need to be flexible, and by that I mean they need to be able to dedicate their time, offer their time on a flexible basis, and not just say I can only do this night, that night. They need to be able to change according to the circumstances that they might find themselves in. Again, they need to be reliable. If they're doing important first aid, if they don't turn up, who else is going to administer the first aid to anybody who's injured? You need to be passionate. A lot of time volunteers, they're not getting paid for what they're doing. So if they don't have that passion there for what they're doing, it might be after a few weeks to get a little bit bored and say, actually, I'm not going to do this anymore. Okay, so you need that passion there to continue with what they're doing. And you need to be able to cooperate. A lot of time volunteers are a part of a team, part of a club, so their role is really, really important, and they might have to cooperate with other members of that team in order to get their job done as well as they need to. And finally, you need to be organised. So again, if you're in charge of the first aid, have you got a first aid kit that is suitable to use? If you're in charge of all the refreshments, have you made sure that before the match you've got the refreshments ready? Okay, and so on. These aren't the only qualities that you could come up with for each of these particular roles. I've just come up with 5 really simple basic ones, okay? You will find that you can come up with a lot more qualities, so do add to these as you see fit. We're now going to look at the sports participation pyramid, okay? The purpose of this is to illustrate the development from mass participation at the base of the pyramid to excellence at the top. So basically it's illustrating how people take part in sport and the level they find themselves at. The greater the number of people who participate, the broader the base, okay? And that will make sense when we see the pyramid now. And finally, the broader the base, the more likely some will achieve excellence. So if we did a pyramid for each particular sport, if you've got a really, really wide base at the bottom, the chances are there's going to be more people who filter through to the top who achieve excellence. But again, that's going to become more apparent as we look at the pyramid. So there's the pyramid itself. The bottom level is what we call foundation. So this is where we talked about having that wide base. Okay. The next one is participation. The level above that is performance. And the very top level is what we call elite stroke excellence. Okay, so we're going to look at these particular stages, these particular levels in more detail now. So the foundation stage, this is the widest stage in the pyramid, and this is basically where all the participants learn the basic sport skills. So they'll learn things like throwing and catching a ball, okay, running whilst bouncing the ball. So all the basic skills that you now take for granted, okay, and these tend to be learned in primary school PE lessons and in multi-sport sessions that are typically held at sports centres during half terms or school holidays. Okay, so this is the widest base, which means this is the level that has the most number of participants in that particular level. Moving up then, so this is a slightly smaller stage. Okay, and it's called the participation stage, and this is where participation in a specific sport is more regular in their own time and for enjoyment. So those people who've moved up from the previous stage at foundation, okay, they've now got a kind of a buzz for a particular sport, and they're wanting to play it more regularly in order to get enjoyment from it. Okay, and they do this through playing in school sports teams or the local Saturday or Sunday teams. The next stage then, again, getting smaller, so that means the number of participants the number of participants at this particular stage is smaller. And in the performance stage, this is where people begin to develop a particular talent in a sport and start to receive quality coaching. So they might be playing for school, or playing for a local club in the participation stage, and they've been identified now as having a particular talent. And from there, they will now get taken to kind of a local or regional training sessions where they're going to receive particularly good quality coaching and play against better players now. So they're starting to develop more kind of expansive skills, more complicated skills that make them stand out as being better players. Okay, and here you probably play maybe at county level. So if you're a county level tennis player, you'd expect to be at the performance stage. Finally, we move on to the top stage. So again, this is the smaller stage because this is the stage or the level where there's the fewest participants, and this is really, really hard to get to this particular level. And this is the elite stroke excellence stage, and this is where there is top class sporting performance. So if you're at this level, you're at the top of the game. Okay, you're playing for either a professional club or you're competing at national and international level. So if you think about all your footballers, your Wayne Rooney's, your Steven Gerrards, okay, in athletics, your Mo Farahs, your Jessica Ennis's, they are all in this elite stroke excellence stage. Okay, so from that you can see we've moved from the foundation stage, which has a really broad base, loads and loads of participants, and we've moved right up to the elite excellence stage, which is a smaller base and far fewer participants because it's a lot harder to actually get there. And then, what now? I need you to rewatch the video as many times as you need to so that you fully understand the topic. Now I want you to watch it at least 3 times. Okay, if you want to watch it more and you need to watch it more so you understand it, that is fine, but you need to watch it at least 3 times. Then you need to fill in all the boxes in your flip learning map, and as you know, next week you'll be playing this knowledge in lesson.